Hands up if you are ready for a new year and a clean slate. I know I am. All sorts of new opportunities and fresh routines are available and possible in 2021, and you are likely to be inundated with all kinds of suggestions to make that happen. As I was researching for this class, I found an article that offered 56 best New Year's resolution ideas for 2021. 56? That's an awful lot of resolutions. You'd need to implement more than one a week to get them all done. And the truth is, the more changes you take on, the harder it is to stick to them and be successful. I'm convinced that the new year brings with it some kind of reverse pumpkin theory. The idea is that as the clock strikes midnight, our pumpkin lives from the previous year will wondrously and miraculously change into a sparkling version of its former self, capable of transporting us into a new fairy tale life. The truth, and slightly less romantic version of the tale, is that we often wake up on New Year's Day a little the worse the wear for staying up until midnight the night before. And as the light pours in through the window and we rub our bleary eyes, it dawns on us that the challenges of yesterday are still present today. When we wake up on January 1st, 2021, COVID will remain a reality, and how we take care of our health will determine our resiliency as we head into month 10 of the pandemic. Rather than focusing on changes that carry little consequence, let's look at 4 resolutions that will help you experience more resiliency in 2021. Because when you focus on these 4 tips, you'll have the strength and the energy to do all the other things that you want to do. Years ago, my grandmother gave me a sign to hang in the kitchen. It reads, "Today's menu, 2 choices, take it or leave it." It harkens back to a time in my life when my mum made dinner and we either ate the food or we went hungry. And I had a pretty similar philosophy as a parent of small children myself. But as my understanding of nutrition has grown, those ideas have morphed and changed. Today I realize that an individual's dietary needs are as unique as their fingerprint. Personalized nutrition is one of the buzzwords that you're going to hear more and more in 2021 and the coming years. The British Medical Journal defines personalized nutrition as information based on individual characteristics to develop targeted nutrition advice, products, and services. Gibney et al. Calls it an approach that assists individuals in achieving lasting dietary behavior changes that are beneficial for the individual. The truth is, there are no one-size-fits-all diet plans. Every food does not suit every individual, and your current health conditions, sensitivities, allergies, genetics, and nutrition all play a role in how you eat. A quick internet search will pull up half a dozen different options that everyone swears by, whether that's Whole30 or keto or Mediterranean diet or eating right for your blood type or the GAP diet. And while these eating plans might have broad principles that are generally good, it doesn't mean that they fit your personal biochemistry. We've seen diets applied medically for a while now. It's not a foreign concept for someone with hypertension to follow the DASH diet or a kidney patient to adhere to a renal diet. It's not even unrealistic for physicians to suggest less refined or fried foods in light of a patient's heart problems or weight gain. Personalized nutrition builds on these concepts, and it investigates your biological characteristics using various testing methodologies. The answers ascertained in this process allow medical professionals to create individual nutrition plans with pinpoint accuracy. For example, Nutrigenetics looks at how people with specific genetics respond to different diets. For example, does this gene influence high blood pressure or obesity when it interacts with a food group? Nutrigenomics is the study of how nutrients influence gene expression. While these are 2 of the larger fields of study, others explore influential environmental factors such as exercise and stress on the human body, and still others epigenetic changes and the human microbiome. Food sensitivity testing looks at an individual's immune response to specific foods with a simple blood test. I've used this testing personally and found it to be inordinately helpful for alleviating the symptoms associated with an IgG immune response to specific foods. Antibiotic use, overgrowth of yeast and bacteria, and a diet filled with pesticides and herbicides can lead to a breakdown in the gut lining. Food proteins can then escape into the bloodstream, where the body mounts an immune response. IgGs are one of 5 different immune responses that your body can experience when exposed to something that it perceives to be a foreign invader. IgGs make up about 70% of the antibodies in your bloodstream. They are chains of proteins that are very, very strong and won't break down quickly. IgG responses to food proteins cause health conditions that range from upper respiratory distress like sinus, ear, and lung complaints, to joint and muscle pain, to skin rashes, and digestive conditions like IBS, acid reflux, and heartburn. We have a test that we run through our clinic that looks at your body's response to 190 different foods. It saves time over an elimination diet which removes foods for 28 days before reintroduction. Standard blood tests can also highlight fundamental nutritional deficiencies. Low alkaline phosphatase can signal low zinc. Low MCHC might indicate a vitamin C need, and a lipid panel can indicate a need for omega-3s. The organic acid test by Great Plains Laboratory and the micronutrient test by SpectraCell show specific nutrient needs that are correctable with a precision diet or supplement recommendations. Using these factors, specialists help those with obvious medical needs and those with a desire to fine-tune their health to accomplish more than a generic diet alone would. All of this creates an outstanding opportunity for success and an increased likelihood that the client will stick to their personalized plan. So this year, you can consider taking your health from the good to great with a unique eating plan that's designed with your biochemistry in mind. If 2020 taught us nothing else, it shone a light on the importance of our immune system and the value of taking care of our health. It's a reminder of the considerable fragility of humanity and, at the same time, the extraordinary resilience that is possible. As 2021 begins, we need to continue to exercise our due diligence regarding our immunity. Evidently, COVID isn't going anywhere for a while, and when it does, other infections will eventually rear their ugly heads. So what you eat will either promote inflammation and disease, or reduce inflammation and promote healing. How often you make great choices will determine how robust your health foundation is. Just as a house with a strong foundation can withstand a storm, so your body, fortified with nutrients, can prevail against sickness. The vitamins A, B, C, D, and E, and the mineral zinc are critical for healthy immune function. Studies have shown that individuals low in vitamin D are having a notably hard time with COVID. Approximately 42% of Americans are vitamin D deficient, and in lockdown situations with less access to natural light, this number could well increase. We also know that vitamin D is one of the many hormones involved in the maturation of white blood cells, which are part of your immune system. Food sources of vitamin D include salmon, sardines, tuna, eggs, and shiitake mushrooms. Vitamin A helps your body to make and use antibodies, which are the special proteins formed by your B cells and your T helper cells. Vitamin A also plays a role in putting on the brakes and preventing your immune and inflammatory systems from overreacting. Food sources include sweet potato, carrots, spinach and kale, mustard, collard, turnip and beet greens, Swiss chard, and winter squash. Vitamin C is necessary for the production of phagocytes. Sometimes in a battle the warrior gets wounded, and that can be true for phagocytes too. They're like warriors in battle. They attack invaders using toxins such as superoxide radicals and hypochlorous acid, which is like a type of bleach. Sometimes this inflicts damage on the phagocyte as well as the enemy. Like a suit of armor, vitamin C helps to protect them. Vitamin C increases the production of interferons, which helps to kill off viruses. Food sources include papaya, bell peppers, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, strawberries, pineapple, oranges, kiwi fruit, cantaloupe, and cauliflower. Zinc specifically supports your macrophages. When a macrophage that's full of zinc consumes an invader, it essentially poisons the invader and kills it. We know from a 2010 laboratory study that zinc inhibited the activity and replication of another type of coronavirus, and we know that it can reduce the duration of the common cold. We also know that diets low in zinc can induce measurable reductions in the activity of the immune system. Older individuals are especially prone to lowered immunity because of low zinc levels. The fabulous news is that correcting this deficiency can reverse these concerns within just a few weeks. Food sources of zinc include beef, lamb, sesame seeds, pumpkin seeds, lentils, garbanzo beans, cashews, turkey, quinoa, and shrimp. Many individuals don't eat enough nutrients to keep their vitamin E levels where they should be. As you age, your body uses more vitamin E to protect you from age-related infection and free radicals. Vitamin E directly supports your T cells, helping them to move from immaturity to maturity. As we age, low vitamin E levels make it harder to fight off infection because the T cells never mature and multiply. They're called naive T cells because they have no idea what to do when they encounter antigens or foreign invaders. Just 200 milligrams of vitamin E a day can significantly reduce your risk of contracting an upper respiratory infection, especially the common cold, even if you're over 65. We also know that vitamin E is extremely protective of your heart and significantly reduces your risk of cardiovascular disease, which is another risk factor in COVID. All in all, vitamin E is an important building block in your immune fortress. Food sources include sunflower seeds, almonds and spinach, Swiss chard, avocado, peanuts, asparagus, and turnip, beet, and mustard greens. Vitamin B complex, especially folate, B6, and B12, are also required for immunity. These three work together to help produce methionine, an essential amino acid used by your body to make glutathione, which cleans up your body effectively. People who are low in folate and B12 have fewer T cells. B6 and B12 provide the energy needed to make your immune cells. Food sources with high amounts of these Bs include lentils and pinto beans, garbanzo beans, asparagus, tuna, turkey, beef, chicken, salmon, sardines, cod, and lamb. It doesn't do you much good to destroy your health from the inside out, and that is exactly what happens when you overconsume sugar and alcohol. A meta-analysis published in 2018 concluded that high consumption of alcohol is associated with an 83% increased risk of getting community-acquired pneumonia. Each 10 to 20 grams or 1 to 2 units of alcohol intake per day creates an 8% increase in the risk of infection. Based on a study from 1970, we know that eating sugar may cause your immune system to get sluggish. However, we also know that eating high amounts of sugar can result in obesity, insulin resistance, heart disease, and type 2 diabetes, which are all tremendous risk factors for COVID-19. As you plan your meals in 2021, choose foods that support your immune system and help keep your defenses resilient. Avoid things that will undermine your ability to stay healthy both today and in the future. The third thing I want you to focus on is eating well for mental health. For almost a year, these lockdowns, the job losses, the grief, the anger, and the frustration have been sort of the norm. Most of us are exhausted and mentally drained from jumping through every hurdle that 2020 has presented. It means that putting your mental health first in 2021 is going to be of utmost importance. When we consider how we feel emotionally, we tend to think more about therapy and counseling and medication than we do about what we eat. But did you know that what you eat can directly impact your emotional well-being? Did you also know that a burgeoning field of supplements called nutraceuticals provide support for your mind and your body when they're under extended periods of stress? If you think about it, you really are one enormous walking, talking, digesting organism, so it makes sense that what you eat directly impacts your emotions. Your digestive tract runs from your mouth to the point where it exits your body, and your mouth, stomach, liver, gallbladder, small and large intestine, pancreas and kidneys all work to process the foods and drinks that you eat. that really only leaves your heart, lungs, and a couple of glands in your torso. But it does so much more than just digest it. It contains over 100 million nerve cells that line your gastrointestinal tract, and most of the major organs in your torso are connected to your brain by your vagal nerve. Studies have been done that show that 80 to 90% of the emotional communication that takes place between your gut and your brain are going in that direction via the vagal nerve, and most of the emotions communicated are fear-based. So your gut is communicating to your brain that your body's in danger, and then it's your brain's job to rationalize and sort out whether or not something is really wrong. All the little microbes that live in your digestive tract make up to 90% of your serotonin, which is a feel-good neurotransmitter. They are responsible for increasing the GABA receptors in your brain, which alleviates mood disorders like chronic depression. Scientists now believe that gut bacteria also play a role in producing dopamine, and dopamine is associated with your pleasure and reward pathways, and limited amounts of dopamine is associated with Parkinson's. So the health of your belly is directly correlated to your mental well-being. Depression and anxiety are linked with inflammation in your body, which includes your gut and your brain. The standard American diet is filled with fast food and sugar and trans fats and too many fried foods and vegetable oils, refined processed foods, genetically modified foods, herbicides and pesticides, antibiotics and hormones that create a chronic level of inflammation in your body and your brain. This combination of ingredients creates a chemical poop storm in your body, and it wreaks havoc with your health. It's no wonder that so many of us feel so sad. Dr. Daniel Amen tells us that sugar is linked with depression, ADHD, hyperactivity, and increased slow brain waves in brain imaging studies. Research at UCLA showed that sugar affects learning and memory as well. When blood sugar rises, your body responds by secreting insulin to deal with the intake. If your body is overloaded with sugar, say from a soda, your body produces a lot of insulin. Insulin lowers your blood sugar, which not only leaves you craving more sugars, but may also cause symptoms of anxiety. Sugar rushes can also cause these symptoms of anxiety too. On top of that, it can overload the liver, which can lead to anger and emotional instability, frustration and impatience. In general, I advise no more than 8 grams of added sugars per day. That's just 2 teaspoons. So check your labels, keep track for a week, and see how well you fare when you keep your blood sugar under control. Did you know that you're a fathead? It's not really an insult, it's just the plain old truth. Your brain is made up of 60% fat, and your body relies on 2 types of fat, EPA and DHA, to be healthy. In fact, DHA is to your brain what calcium is to your bones. EPA and DHA are found in omega-3 fatty acids. Both DHA and EPA, another omega-3 fat, are critical for supporting brain function and mood, regulating metabolism, and preventing diabetes and inflammation. EPA seems to play more of a role in mood and emotional balance, and it helps to support a healthy response to inflammation. Fat is also used as fuel in the brain, especially in ketone bodies, which we find in coconut oil. So my recommendation is that you replace omega-6 oils like canola, grapeseed, corn, sunflower, soybean, and hydrogenated oils with the healthy fats found in salmon, cod, sardines, walnuts, olive oil, chia seeds, flax seeds, walnuts, and algae. Your ratio should be more like 4 to 1 to 1 to 1, omega-6 to omega-3s. And in this country, that ratio is usually more like 20 to 1. And by the way, if you heat your oil in the pan and it smokes, throw it out. It does get damaged when it gets past its smoke point, and it adds to the inflammation in your body. Many people that I speak with think that they're eating a varied diet because their menu includes cereal, cheese crackers, a sandwich, potato chips, chicken fingers, and every color of candy in the bag. The aisles that run up and down the center of the store are full of products made largely from the same ingredients: corn, soy, sugar, which are all largely genetically modified, and wheat. In fact, it's estimated that 75% of the world's food is produced from only 12 plants and 5 animal species. Hardly the variety that promotes a healthy gut bacteria and a strong immune system. But we know that a varied diet contributes to a diverse and healthy gut microbiome. A healthy gut will support your mental health. So in 2021, get out of those center aisles and start choosing foods from the perimeter of the store that provide variety and are as close to the way that nature intended them to be eaten. Over time, excessive emotional, physical, and chemical strains can tax your adrenal glands, which secrete cortisol whenever your stress level is overextended. This constant barrage can cause adrenal fatigue over time. Adaptogens do just what the word suggests. They help us to adapt to different stresses and bring balance to the way our bodies work. This category of supplements is generally extracted from plants and are also known as botanical or herbal remedies. Now, I've used these for years to help support my adrenal glands and to cope with extremely difficult situations. Personal experience shows that they can act like anti-anxiety medicines, but without a lot of the side effects. For example, I used one called Bacopa for years as a calming supplement, and I used it to help me get off prescription medicines like Xanax. Today, I take Eleuthero, which is Siberian ginseng, and licorice solid extract daily to support my adrenals and my emotional health. This year, our kids have experienced incredible strain as they've completed bachelor's degrees, got engaged, and planned a wedding while maintaining several jobs. We always keep Bacopa and ashwagandha on hand for getting through those difficult moments when life is just too overwhelming to deal with. One of my customers told me actually that Bacopa helped her to effectively be a mom and deal with the emotional stresses of working whilst raising 3 small kids. The fourth thing that I want you to focus on in 2021 is getting informed. In 2020, we found ourselves inundated with extraordinary amounts of information coming at us from social media, the news, and our friends. And as we head into 2021, we can expect to be inundated with yet more information about the best foods, the best supplements, the best medicines, and the best way forward. So my last action point to you is this: start asking questions. When the next health food trends and the newest diets hit the market, like Beyond Meat burgers and allulose sugar did recently, ask yourself these questions. Are the ingredients organic and close to their original source, or are they natural and highly processed? Who's manufacturing the food, and do they even care about your health? Does this diet support your personal biochemistry? Take a moment to follow the money and figure out who paid for the latest study that tells you that this is the next best thing. Do the people who paid for the study benefit financially from your buy-in? And when it comes to your supplements, ask what's in them. Are they free from artificial colors, preservatives, flavors, heavy metals, contaminants, and are they made with clean ingredients? Learn to question the information that you're being spoon-fed via advertising, social media, the news, and even your friends. The more you learn, the better educated you'll be to make excellent decisions that are going to benefit your health in 2021. 2021 may well bring more of the same challenges that 2020 presented. It's going to be more important than ever to step up and take responsibility for your own health. Take time to figure out how personalized nutrition can benefit your personal health and immune system, and then eat foods that support it. Take care of your mental health by balancing your blood sugar, choosing healthy fats, and eating a variety of whole foods. Use adaptogens to carry your body through on the days when your stress levels feel overwhelming. And finally, learn to ask questions that help you to make excellent decisions that benefit your health. If you focus on these 4 areas, I believe you'll have the strength and the energy to do all the other things that you want to do in 2021.